welcome to Show Me Some Television. That's right, this is the little segment I do on the Rogers Show Me, whatever you want to call it, because I got it for free and decided to watch some TV. And yeah, one of the shows that they have been, really advertising is Sons of Anarchy. Now, Sons of Anarchy hadn't finished yet when I got this free Rogers thing. There was still a season to go, season 7 I believe, and Rogers only had seasons 1 to 5. But I figured, you know what, Christmas time, I got time to watch it, let's binge watch some stuff. So I started watching Sons of Anarchy, and I think by the time I got to season 3, maybe halfway through season 3, season 6 got uploaded. So I was hoping, by the time I get to finish up, through season 6, season 7 will also show up on the Show Me, but it hasn't yet. And, well, I don't know when you're watching this, maybe it has by now, but as of this video, when I make it, season 7 has not been put onto Show Me. So this is essentially me looking at seasons 1 to 6, and, letting you know what I think of Sons of Anarchy, one of the shows that a lot of people highly recommended I check out, but, as I tend to do, I like to watch shows when they're done, when they're completed, so I can binge watch everything and not have to wait. I don't like waiting, at least not for my television shows. So, what are my first impressions of Sons of Anarchy? Well, I can see why people like it. And it's not because it's bikers. It's, it's... The characters are really, really well defined. And they're characters that you can actually like. Even the characters who are, in the show made out to be the bad guys, you still like them. And that... well, that tends to have the viewer interested in what's going to happen in the show, what's going to happen in the next episode, per episode, what's going to happen season over season. And seasons 1 and 2 did a really, really good job of giving the viewers an idea of who each character was, what their, motivations were, what they stood for, where they stood in terms of the bike group, the gang, and what their roles were, right? If you can do that really well, it is highly beneficial to your program. And Sons of Anarchy did it smashingly. I'm like, it's hard to say, of a show that did it better. Another thing about that is the characters aren't just well defined in terms of who they are and their motivations, but their look. Their look is very distinct. When you look at one guy and you look at the other guy, it's like you don't get that whole, was he the guy who last week did the thing, or was it the other guy who did the thing? No, because they're very, very, very different. Different looks, facial hair, body builds, heights, accents. I mean, you got people who aren't from the U.S. in this biker group, so it's one of those things where all of these tend to lend and help the viewer distinguish who everybody is, and therefore they are able to remember week over week what happened, who did what, and attribute who their favorites are, who they want to follow, and who they want to root for. And that's definitely something that tends to well, in Sons of Anarchy, it's I think it is the main reason why this show succeeded. The stories are pretty good. Like I said, seasons 1 and 2, really, really good. Help define everybody, the role of the club, the role of every character. Now in season 3, kind of took a bump there. I'd say season 3 may be the weakest that I've seen so far, all the way up to season 6, yeah. I do think that seasons 4, 5, and 6 aren't nearly as good as 1 and 2. 1 and 2 being the strongest seasons of the show so far. Again, I haven't seen season 7. And that has to do with the the characters and how they act. The show really drives you towards certain characters and putting them sort of in the good guy role, and it drives you to want to cheer them on. In the later seasons, it turns that over. And now some people will say that's some good writing, but when you're doing this to the characters that people really, really like, and some of the characters they really removed from the show, they were still there, but they weren't as front and center as they used to be. So you didn't see them as much. So when you take some of these, characters that people love and change how they're perceived and remove them somewhat from the show, those viewers who have been with it for the long, that long haul, it's almost like a kick in the, in the nuts. You're not making them happy. And if you're not making them happy, then they don't enjoy the show as much. As well, because, certain characters are removed, other characters are pushed to the forefront. And I mean, this helps drive and give you, different seasons and such like that. So it's not just a repetition of the same stuff over and over again. But when your new characters that are introduced and your side characters that were always there, are sort of pushed to the forefront, if their stories aren't that good or their characters aren't as strong, it hurts. It hurts. And there are some new characters that are introduced through really, honestly, admittedly, the club, spoiler alert, the club does get into some difficulties and it kind of gets a little desperate, but yeah, I don't know. When you go from this group of people who seem like really, really hardcore, really know what they're doing, and then add in people who are like, yes, I realize they're supposed to be newbies and all this kind of stuff, but they're, you get some of the newbies they're really new, and they just don't seem to fit in with the gang mentality of this, these Sons of Anarchy biker club. But, on top of that, some of the characters who were side characters who, had roles and regular appearances and regular dealings, when you put, stories revolving around them, the stories have to be really, really good to match up to what you'd had before, and I don't think they do. I really don't think they do. See, I'm trying not to give away too much here. Yeah, I don't know. See, there's one thing that really bugged me about one of the storylines, and I can't give away too much without basically telling you what the whole season was. But one of the club members, somebody learns a secret about him, and so he doesn't want to get kicked out of the club because of the secret, so he goes against the club and does some stuff that the club doesn't want and doesn't like and would get him kicked out of the club, so he wouldn't get kicked out of the club. Do you see what I'm saying? So he loves the club, and this information would get him possibly kicked out of the club. So to keep that information hidden, he's going to go against the club that he really, really loves and possibly get kicked out if somebody finds out about it. Motivation is a very, very important thing in storytelling, and in this particular aspect of the show, I think motivation was flawed. You get it to a certain extent, and I get, doing favors or something for somebody because you don't want them to, let the cat out of the bag. But when the favors you're starting to do go against the people you are apparently you love and you feel a brotherhood with, and you don't want to let them down, then it doesn't make any sense. It's like, I don't I don't want to kill that guy because I love that guy. Well, if you don't kill that guy, I'm going to tell that guy that you're going to kill him. Well, then I'm going to go kill him. No, you're going to tell him what's going on behind his back, because this is your brotherhood. This is, you protect the brotherhood, and if you're not going to protect the brotherhood, then you don't love them as much as you thought. And see, that was the thing. They needed to have that in there, and I don't really think they did a good job of doing that. So that kind of irked me a little bit. But that being said, they did, I think it's seasons 5 and 6, started bringing back a lot more of these characters that we'd come to love in seasons 1 and 2, and they became major role players, and things were happening. And because some of the characters from previously who had sort of, I wouldn't say switched, but gave you the idea, came about in a different, almost not the opposite of the way they used to be, but not as good as they used to be, and not good as in, performance, but as in, good and evil type thing. You were already introduced to that, so whenever they continue on that path, though you still don't like it, you're not as dismissive of it. So, when you got seasons 3 and I think it was 3 and 4, and some of 5 is really where you're getting this. Some of these characters just aren't doing what they used to do. They aren't the same person. Come into seasons 5 and 6, you've already seen it. It's not new. It's not hitting you over the head. You may have moved on to other characters, possibly, or you've just come to terms with the way these characters have changed, and you're okay with that. Now, of course, you may have lost that. That might have been it. You might have gotten to season 3 and went, "Oh, yeah, I can't watch this anymore." But I will say, it's a consistently decent show. Seasons 1 and 2 are good. I can see why people watched it over and over and followed it and wanted to follow it. Season 3, kind of, like I said, falls off the rails. 4, 5, and 6, not as good as 1 and 2, but still a decent watch. And you're already invested, right? You've been watching the show. You might as well, as long as it's not bad, you can watch it. And even sometimes when they are bad, you still, whatever, you're invested, right? So with Sons of Anarchy, I'm looking forward to the final season just to get it wrapped up. But I can't say that, watching it, I feel worse off for having watched it. I actually, having watched that many seasons of a show, if you aren't into it, it can easily feel like you've wasted your time. And I don't get that at all with Sons of Anarchy. Actually, I enjoyed it. There are shows out there where I've watched the entire series, and at no point did I come out of it going, I enjoyed it. There are several where I watched them and I didn't like them, and I'm not going to tell you what they are, but you can ask below and I might. Maybe not, but yeah, anyways, if you haven't seen Sons of Anarchy, and you were kind of turned off by the violence or the the idea of glorifying biker gangs, I would give it a shot. You'd be surprised. It's more about the characters than it is about anything else. But it is violent. It is quite violent. There is some gore. There is some definite blood going on in the show. So you got to keep that in mind. If that really turns you off, then you're not going to like Sons of Anarchy whatsoever. But it is not just about violence. It's not just about a biker gang, bike club. It really is about character development, the interweaving of relationships of a brotherhood and people who are really close, and perhaps not so close, and those the ties that break and the ties that bind and everything together. And that's what good storytelling is about. You want to find out what happens to people. You want to find out what people are going to do. And I think that's one of the things that Sons of Anarchy really excelled at, and why a lot of people really, really enjoyed the series. And again, that's what I found from it. Characters, really, really good. Stories were pretty good. And made you want to watch week after week. In my case, episode after episode. So, let me know, guys, if you've seen Sons of Anarchy. Don't give away any spoilers. Just let me know if you've seen it, and if you like it, post down below what was your favorite season, who's your favorite character. If you haven't seen it, post down below why you've passed it up, and I'm sure, you know, everybody will let you know if it's for you or not, and you can make up your own decision. Doesn't mean you actually have to go out and watch it, but I would suggest you should at least give seasons 1 and 2 a chance. If you don't like it, you're not going to like season 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, so you can pass at that point. But seasons 1 and 2, definitely solid. Give them a chance. Check them out. Till next video, take care, have a good one, and show me some television.